Does my boa still look good?
You look brilliant.
Very nice, very nice. Muy bonito.
Welcome. Developers. I was just thinking of my friend Bono. It's like I've never said this before, but I'll say it for the first time here. Is it getting better, or do you feel the same? And today, things are better. FlexMonkey's in the wild, right, Stu?
Muy bueno.
The FlexMonkey is in the wild. Where are we tonight? Do we say where we are?
No, we're getting there.
Okay,
I got a big intro planned, and I'm stumbling now.
Go ahead.
This is Drunk on Software. We're here getting crunked at Casa Bonita.
Obviously, we're already crunked.
We're working on it. We've got James Ward. I'm John Rose.
Cheers.
And we've got our Jewish man in a sombrero, Stu Stern.
Actually, it's a wide brim yarmulke.
Yarmulke. I wish Adam Sandler was here to sing the song.
Yarmulke.
Yarmulke. But I can't sing, so.
Either.
So the big occasion, the reason James dressed up like a something cowboy.
See the flowers? The boa?
I think he looks beautiful.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. You always look nice, James.
So the three amigos, we're here.
I wish we knew that little puff thing they did, but
that'd be
should have
nice.
practiced that. We're here because Gorilla Logic, Stu's company, he allows me the privilege of working there.
Now, we've talked to Stu before about testing.
We have. And we talked to him about FlexMonkey, and your boys, the FlexMonkey team, has released FlexMonkey 1.0 today.
Indeed, the monkey has landed.
So tell us about the monkey. Tell us what's new. Tell us why everyone should be as excited as we are and come straight to Casa Bonita.
Well, of course, FlexMonkey 0.8 has become quite huge. Literally downloaded many thousands of times. I think close to 10,000 times.
Wow. Cheers to that. That's great.
And if you like 0.8, you're going to love 1.0. Because it is significantly enhanced. This is not a minor,
are you talking about a monkey being
upgrade.
significantly enhanced?
Indeed. We have significantly enhanced the monkey.
Whatever floats your boat, James.
Indeed.
Pink,
boas. It's a boa. Thank you.
You've said that a few times. I just figured it out.
So the monkey is enhanced. The monkey is enhanced.
It's an enhanced monkey.
Tell us about
a free-flowing
So wait, before we get into about what's enhanced about the monkey?
A much larger palette of operations available.
Palette.
What it does now is, well, first of all, we support air applications, which we have never done before.
Adobe Air.
Or at least not as straightforward. Adobe Air.
Before we get into the...
You work for Adobe, don't you, James?
Some could say that.
James, what do you do at Adobe?
Cheers.
What do you want to get into before he gets into the thing that the podcast is about? Besides drinking.
I wanted to
so
talk...
this counts
okay,
too.
yeah. I definitely wanted to drink more. Is there more in there?
Yes. I've been drinking out of it, but don't worry. I'm swine flu.
It's
You know, I'm
H1N1
trying to be information rich here, okay?
Okay, so wait. So last time we had you on the show, we were talking about testing. And I felt enlightened because, you know, I never really understood the value of testing until we had that conversation.
Indeed.
And so now that I feel like...
Correct. You thought testing was stupid.
There's wisdom dropping.
Yeah, because, you know, I enjoyed clicking through my application over and over and over and over and over again just to do the same thing over and over and over and over again.
Yes, I see you have a very developed clicker.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Just click, you know, just to test it.
Yes.
And so, you know, for our listeners that may not understand, what we're talking about today is all about automated testing.
Indeed.
Where people like me, monkeys like me, who would usually click, you know, to test their application every single time. You know, there's actually software now that can automate that. It's amazing. I was shocked when I found this out.
And as a monkey...
Yes, James. Welcome to 1998.
I think you both missed the timing on that. But, James, you are a monkey with gorilla potential. But the point you're trying to make is, I think you're referencing when Stu said, all we think testing is automating the things a developer would do anyway.
Absolutely. Great quote by Stu.
And yes, that does...
Did I say that?
You did.
You did.
The wisdom dripping
I come
off...
up with some good ones.
Yeah, you did.
The wisdom dripping off of your overhung sombrero.
No, it's a
yarmulke. Overhung yarmulke. It's immense. But yes, that's the point.
Okay, so I just want to set the stage for people who may not know what FlexMonkey is or may not be familiar with automated testing even, like me.
Hopefully you are familiar. And if you are, look for careers at GorillaLogic.com. If you're not, learn about it and then think about submitting your resume.
So FlexMonkey started as a project that you just got involved in one weekend by hacking on some code or something.
Right, we were looking for something to test ourselves, to test code that we were developing ourselves, and couldn't find anything that didn't cost $8,000 a seat. So we stumbled across the AutoQuick sample application from Adobe that demonstrates how to use the automation API, and we realized that we could enhance it to turn it into a monkey.
So we're talking specifically about Flex and Air then.
Thus the monkey was...
And thus the monkey was born, yes.
Yes.
And
to test Flex applications in the browser or on the desktop.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, today...
Fantastic.
Today we can test Flex and Air apps. Adobe Flex and Adobe Air apps. And as I was saying before, major enhancements. Now blow your horn for emphasis.
Major enhancements.
So there are major enhancements. There's not if you've been using FlexMonkey before, you have not seen FlexMonkey until you've seen 1.0. The user interface, actually there's two components now. There's a console that is an Air application that you run and that will launch Air applications or Flex applications in a browser or standalone. You can generate complete suites of tests. XUnit style, Flex unit style hierarchies of tests, suites, cases, tests, all managed in our graphical user interface. And you can now generate verification code as part of your recording process as well. So you can be playing with your application, recording everything you're doing, get to a particular point, and click on a button that says, I would like to verify the state of my application right now. And then there is a spy that you can then click on various components in your app and tell FlexMonkey to check the values of selected properties when it runs the test to make sure that the actions you automated recording, when you play them back, that you get the same results.
This might have been there already, but one of the things I really liked is you could actually do bitmap captures of objects and then test to make sure that
yes, if you hadn't interrupted me, I would have added to that. No,
don't interrupt Mr. Stern.
I was just reading your mind.
Portion of the podcast.
I was just reading your mind.
Please.
Seeing where you're going.
It's true.
It's funny you bring that up.
What was it that you said? Oh yes, the bitmap. So yes,
bitmaps.
You can also click on a component on the screen and record a bitmap. So it'll essentially automate eyeballing what the screen looks like at a particular point.
So we're not just automating my clicker finger; we're also automating my eyeballs.
Indeed, no.
We don't need your fingers or your eyeballs.
Good one.
That's good.
I love that. Yes.
Automating your fingers and eyeballs.
We automate fingers, eyeballs,
and anything else? Because I have some other things.
We generate code. We generate code. Yes. So did I mention we generate code? So you can completely interactively develop.
You generate code?
We generate code.
That's amazing.
You heard about it, right?
I actually have.
So we generate code.
I'll play the novice for you.
Okay, thank you.
Could you automate things that would keep me from getting in arguments with my wife?
No. So you're
arguing about
whether or not your UI
your code works properly. Yes, there's no question.
Does your code work properly? Because your wife thinks
Let's
your
not
code
go into that. I think that's a little too personal.
Yes, your wife was complaining to me about your object.
Okay, so anyway,
extends. Wait.
Okay, so
the monkey.
Where were we?
The monkey 1.0.
We're talking about generating code. So yes, we generate code. You may recall that we generate code already. We generate more code now.
You generate Flex Unit 4 code?
And in fact, we generate Fluent code because Flex Unit 4 wasn't entirely stable when we were building out the code gen piece. But Fluent, many of you may know out there in television land, Flex Unit 4 is actually being developed on top of Fluent, and Flex Unit 4 is upwardly compatible with Fluent. So we're going to have direct support for Fluent. We're going to generate Flex Unit code directly in the 1.1 release, but in the 1.0 release, we generate Fluent code, which, if you're not familiar with Fluent, it looks just like Flex Unit, but it's nicer. Has better asynchronous
And our guys are
support.
In touch with Mike Labriola and the Flex Unit 4 guys, right? Making sure we're ready for that.
Yeah.
Indeed. We're hanging with the Flex Unit 4 guys. We definitely work with Flex Unit 4. It's just not the code we generate today, but Fluent is essentially the same thing.
So if you
it's got annotations, you can say bracket, oh, I'm sorry, I'm making noise.
So if
Sorry. So you can go bracket test thing like you can in FlexUnit Fluent.
if I have FlexMonkey, why do I need X unit testing framework still?
You need an XUnit testing framework like FlexUnit or Fluent because we just generate tests. We don't generate the harnesses necessary to manage large suites of tests.
So FlexMonkey and Fluent put with the existing unit testing supporting frameworks of excuse me, of Hudson, and I can't even get continuous integration
Yes.
environments out of my mouth
Yes.
without coughing.
It's Casa Bonita. It does it to you every time.
But it allows that whole ecosystem, and then you have really the tools to do the level of testing sufficient for building.
Well, yes. In fact, you can run us from Ant. In fact, in the new version, in the 1.0 version, we have our own Ant task.
Another huge leap forward.
And our own. Well, we've worked with the FlexUnit Ant task before, but we have a Ant task that's slightly nicer now. So you can launch your tests from Ant, and in fact, you can roll up your FlexUnit, your FlexMonkey tests into any Fluent or FlexUnit test suite that you're doing, larger suite of tests, not just your UI FlexMonkey tests, but you might be doing regular API testing, and you can integrate us in and roll up the results. And in fact, you can have JUnit tests as well as part of your suite that you're running, and roll up all of the results into one report that you can drill down on. So your Java test results and your Flex test results, your UI tests, your non-UI tests.
So if I wanted to get started with FlexMonkey 1.0, a lot of times I don't do unit testing or automated testing on my Flex apps because
How do you live with yourself?
I don't. It's hard.
How do you not test your demo applications?
It's hard.
What if you have regression on your demo app, James?
I know. But a lot of times, I still am doing testing, right? I still am clicking through
You're
my
just not
applications
automating it.
over and over and over.
One would hope.
But a lot of times I think that, all right, the amount of time that it's going to take me to set up some automated tests is going to be more than the amount of time it continually takes me to click
5
through my
minutes or
applications.
less.
Well, there's
So
I
how
would
would
say
I-
a couple of things.
what would
about
I do?
that.
How would
well,
I
I
get
would say
started?
certainly with FlexMonkey. So you can completely use FlexMonkey without generating code.
What's wrong with your horn?
And without.
I'm trying to let the information portion of the podcast happen.
Can I use this for one?
There we go.
You can use.
That's cute.
You can use it with your. I'm adorable. You can use it
Yamaka.
without generating code, without getting involved with Ant. You can just bring it up, turn on the record
Wait, how do I
button.
wait before you? Did you say
Install
bring
it
it
as
up?
an air app.
Okay, so I just
start
go
your
to,
air app.
I go to what? FlexMonkey.org or something?
Oh, you go to FlexMonkey.GorillaLogic.com.
.com. And that'll be in the show notes for those of you web kids out
Okay,
there.
and then there's an air app there.
FlexMonkey.GorillaLogic.com.
I install the air app.
You click on the thing and it installs the air app. Then you run the app. You tell it the
Target Swift.
You open up a little file dialog. Say, okay, I'd like to run this app over here. It launches it, and then you hit the. So now you have a console window with FlexMonkey's controls in it, and you got your app running in a separate window, separate air windows.
It's true.
And your app can be Flex or Air. And you're in your console window, and you hit the record button, and then you just start doing what you'd be doing anyway.
Right.
And it's recording everything. And the only additional action would be hitting the verify button to also record what you'd be verifying when you tested manually.
Right.
So say, at this
I'm
point in the
looking for
script,
something.
I want to make sure that when I do this and this and this field has this value in it, or this turn this color, whatever it may be.
Right.
So you can also click on the little verify button, tell FlexMonkey to look for that at that point in the script.
Right.
And then you
And
hit.
that can be bitmaps or property values.
That could be bitmaps or property values. And again, the property values is a spy thing that'll actually, hey, for this component, here's all the properties available. Which ones do you want to verify? And then you can save that to disk, and that's it. And then run it. And you don't have to generate code. You don't have to use Ant. You can just then bring up FlexMonkey thereafter, load up that suite, and run it.
Very nice.
So in
for
fact, I
getting
mean,
back to the
even
demo
for for you UI testers out there, you all know the drudgery of as you're working on a particular piece of code, and you got to go through a little scenario to get set up to the point where, okay, here's the change I made. So another very nice thing you can do with FlexMonkey is just automate that setup. So you make your code changes, bring the app up, say, okay, click the button, run the FlexMonkey code script to get you to the point at which you're actually gonna test the new code that you're that you're developing.
Right.
So that's very nice too. So even if you're not saving it into a rerunnable suite, it's just also just an invaluable programming aid.
Absolutely.
So what else do you want to share about the tool for the information portion of the podcast?
What else do I want to share about the tool? It's killer. It looks lovely. The new version, very aesthetically pleasing, as Air apps are. Much more. It's hard to describe. You guys need to have some kind of interactive screen integration here, but you'll have to take my word for it.
Here at Casa Bonita, they don't have computers.
Very aesthetically, much more aesthetically beautiful than the previous version. And a very cool thing about it too is that it will launch a Flex app in a browser. You can launch it standalone or in a browser. So if you've got browser-based testing you need to do, where you're dependent on, say, browser security stuff that you're doing, stuff that's setting cookies or stuff in the browser outside of your app, that all can be accommodated.
Can it also do an HTML page instead of just a Swift?
Absolutely. You can launch an HTML page with your app in it. Well, to get into the gory details a little bit, you either have to modify your page to reference our agent, the FlexMonkey agent, which will then load your Swift into the page and communicate back to the console, or you can also link, if that doesn't work for you, if you don't want to modify your page, you can link the agent right into your app. And then you don't have to change your HTML page at all.
That's great.
But of course, then you had to change your Swift to have the agent linked into it. But you can run it either way. You can dynamically load your Swift from the agent or link the agent into your Swift.
That's good because if your app then uses like external interface or something in JavaScript, then it's still going to be
It'll
testable.
totally work. Yeah.
That's great. Does it use Air's HTML support to do that, or
no? It doesn't. It doesn't use that. It's simply it's just launching a browser with your app in it, and then it's setting up a socket connection back to the console
or a local connection.
I believe it is actually using local connection.
We got
which is essentially a file socket, whatever.
I've been wondering
everything's
about
a socket.
I've been wondering.
File socket.
But I'll tell you,
objects and sockets here on Drunk on Software.
There was some discussion at Gorilla Logic about, since now we have this whole notion of this console and the agents, of actually doing it over the network, where you could drive multiple clients from a console.
Interesting.
And there's all kinds of interesting things one might do.
That's then not a testing tool, but it would be very interesting. So I wanted to give some more valuable information on the tool.
Yes.
It's supported by Gorilla Logic.
It's supported by Gorilla Logic.
It is open source, but if you need help, our services are there for you. There's a training class you can attend to go along with all of our other Flex services. So
this episode sponsored by Gorilla Logic.
Indeed it is.
Well, I think
they paid for the margarita.
We can show you how to use the tool. We can show you how to set up a continuous integration environment that includes Flex user interface testing.
And
I don't want to make one point.
I was in my information portion.
I want to make one more
point.
point.
Go ahead, and then I will.
You're the guest.
Well, I would just like to say, for all of you people out there in television land that are not that are doing unit testing, unlike some Flex evangelists we know.
Demo
those of you who are doing
more
unit
ideas,
testing,
please,
but are not doing UI unit testing, I would just like to point out. Think about this: the Flex, the UI is at the top of the stack. Okay, so when you are exercising code lower down, okay, you can do that. You can do it without the UI. But when you come in at the UI, you're at the top of the stack. You are exercising all that code that trees out under the UI. So the amount of code you're exercising per test is potentially much larger. You get a lot more leverage just driving that UI.
Tree.
As opposed to tweedling around with a lower level API, okay? So we're talking about high level UI testing as opposed to low level API twiddling, okay?
That's right.
Okay, so stop twiddling.
Stop twiddling.
There's a place for twiddling.
Stop acting like a monkey, start acting like a gorilla.
That's
and
right.
there's a place for twiddling, but this is probably...
Now, this might be a little bit out of the scope of the FlexMonkey 1.0 launch, but a lot of times people ask me, how do I do performance testing on a Flex application?
You call GorillaLogic.com.
You do.
It's one of our services.
He took the words right out.
No, that's just what I wanted to get into before I got my information.
I'm sorry, go ahead, please, John.
No, I just think it's important for people to know.
Talk about it a lot.
I want to lead this into you telling us why we built this tool, and why we're investing in it, giving it away. But I think it's important that we do tell our those of you that watch, we won't quote numbers here, but
Millions, actually.
I think we're in the thousands now, so I'm feeling pretty good actually. But
Millions.
anything you need with Flex, Gorilla's got Adobe certified trainers, Adobe certified experts, tooling,
We're tools.
training on FlexMonkey or any other Flex topic you're interested in. And yeah, we're the kind of the enterprise guys. There's some people doing great work in the
This
Flex
episode
space,
sponsored by Gorilla Logics.
and there's some people doing great work in the Flex space. But if you need to build enterprise applications, we just might be your guys. So I just want to make sure we get that on camera. Now, I do think it's important you kind of speak to why we invested in this tool. You've got a team of people working on this thing.
We see a tool like this as being critical. As John said, we're enterprise guys. We build enterprise apps. We've been doing this for a very long time. Not with Flex, obviously, for a few years, but we have a long, storied history of enterprise app development. And we have a very deep notion of process at Gorilla Logic, and of course, testing. And unit testing is integral to any agile methodology. We're agile adherents. And if you're doing agile out there and you think you're doing agile out there, but you're not automating your unit testing, I don't know how you think you're ever gonna refactor your application. So we saw this tool as being very critical for the services that we deliver to our customers. And so we made the investment to put it out there. And hopefully when you use our tool and you like our tool, you give us a call and we'll help you build some applications in Flex. Why don't you?
Okay, so how does this answer the performance testing question?
All right, so
Okay,
back
real
to
quick.
performance testing.
Hold on, just while you're talking about who's building it, I want to give a quick shout out to Eric and the guys.
Yeah, Eric and the guys, so we're back actually
Eric.
working.
Yeah, can you believe they were working instead of coming to Casa Bonita?
I'm offended, but I'm also proud. But there's a couple of guys working on it, Eric Owens and Sam
Yes,
Crater.
Eric Owens, shout out to
Stu Cern.
Eric Owens and Sam Crater, who did most of the heavy lifting on FlexMonkey 1.0. Now back to performance testing, James. Well, there's a couple of things. Of course, there's different types of performance
I
testing.
want to ask it this way. How does James's wife know if he's performing? How does Gorilla help him find that out?
Let's not talk about that. Okay, so
We can do measurements
so here's
of your
the thing.
application.
Let's
And your
avoid
optics.
measurement. Let's avoid measurement of my object. So when people usually ask me about performance testing, the reason why they're asking is because they come from the HTML world, where they can run this tool that pounds on their HTML app,
Which is really testing their services.
Right.
and they want to apply that same thing to Flex. They want to
Right.
make sure that when they throw up their Flex application on the
want
production
us-
server, it's not
right.
going to fall over.
So your question is, how do we pound your back end with FlexMonkey?
Back-end stimulation.
Yes. How do we stimulate your back end with FlexMonkey?
I don't know if I'd use those exact words, but
We have back-end simulation.
Well, you might as well. We have. So, yes, you can stimulate your back end.
Mom
with
and Dad,
FlexMonkey.
please turn off the video cast.
So there's a
now.
couple
Now.
things one can do. One,
Can you say back-end stimulation for me real quick? I'm going to bleep it out.
there's a back end stimulation. There's a couple of things that one can do with the monkey. First of all, so there's different types of testing that one might do to the back end. So let's say you want to just take a single client application and bang the hell out of your back end with it. You can take FlexMonkey.
you bleep that, please.
Now you can sit there and you can like type really fast, and hit the enter key. Exercise your back end.
Yes, you
Or
can.
what you can do is with FlexMonkey, you can do some scenario. Thank you. I'm doing an interpretive hand signals again. Yes, thank you. You can type like crazy, or
You can simulate the whole world.
you can generate code, which we represent like this. You can generate code, okay, and then you can edit the code. So let's say you wanted to add a customer, say, into some app. You're adding a customer. You can record that sequence once, generate the code. Then in the generated code, put a loop around that code, maybe change the name of the guy that you're adding each time you go through the loop, and then run that thing 10,000 times, and bang your back end. And your front end, for that matter. You're banging the front end too. I mean, you're driving it at 10,000 guys. So you can check for memory leaks, for instance, that way. Just run the apps, do stress testing. Now, as far as getting real load testing on the back, you want to get wide, okay?
John's doing beer bomb.
You want to go wide. You don't want to just be having one little client. You want to go wide. So you want to have lots of clients that you're launching simultaneously. And of course, you can do that with FlexMonkey as well, because you can simply have you can do it with Ant, or you could write a little driver guide that would just launch dozens or hundreds of clients that are all
So there's the technical problem of how do I do it, but then there's the practicality problem of is it really practical
Gorilla,
to do as performance testing on a Flex application that runs client side?
It is. But the answer is you need more infrastructure to do it. And Gorilla Logic actually has that infrastructure as a service to go out and test your application for you.
Okay. So it's not something that's built into
Because you can't just run it from your desktop. You need a number of
because
peers.
if we want to generate like a load of hundreds of thousands of people, hitting my
from
site,
multiple
Flex app at the same time,
locations and
yeah,
I mean if you want to do serious
you would
load
generate.
testing,
You would.
But the point is they should call Gorilla Logic. We can tell you how to solve it on this.
This
but we want you
episode
to
sponsored
call
by
us.
Gorilla Logic.
I'm a little sticky. But yeah, seriously, the point is you can go figure this out yourself. If you're a gorilla and you figure out yourself, careers at gorillalogic.com, or resumes, I don't know, try them all.
So
One of them won't bounce.
So,
but
what
the
you're
point
essentially
is
saying
we do have this as a service.
Stop emailing James and asking him how to do it, and just call Gorilla.
Get a retainer with Gorilla.
I'm just gonna say, I don't know.
We have done.
We do.
And if you want to try it at home, it is simply a matter of just spawning lots of clients. Now, obviously, you
As
can
a
run
CEO,
into.
I would think you'd be more focused on the revenue aspect.
No, I'm leaving that to you. I've decided to assume the role of the beneficent Flex community guy.
We're kind of rambling here.
Yeah, so we should wrap this up.
But I want to, if we wanted to tell someone, they can't do this on Blip, but if we wanted to say, to really understand FlexMonkey, fast forward to right here at mark 42 minutes and 7 seconds. Since we didn't get a good, tell us about FlexMonkey. Let's finish on that note. Tell us about FlexMonkey, Stu. This is where you say you thought we would never ask.
I thought you would never ask.
I'm out of drinks.
What?
My biggest.
What's that? The whole mug over there
I'm pretty sticky from
your beer bomb of margaritas.
Okay, is that it?
No, tell us about FlexMonkey.
Again?
Tell us just the quick.
Is that what we were just talking about for the last
But I
hour?
feel like we were all over the place. I just wanted to give the 1 minute elevator.
What's the
speech.
Okay,
one
what
minute,
you
1
just
minute
heard-
elevator pitch?
what you
What you just heard?
Okay.
James, help us out here.
You just heard. FlexMonkey, good. Okay, first of all. Second of all, FlexMonkey records
I have a question on the hand signals.
interactions with your app, plays them back. That's the playback signal. Generates code. And automates your user interface testing so that you don't have to type it in over and over again.
Like a monkey.
Yes, you can just record it and forget it, and even add it to your Ant scripts and your Hudson or your cruise control environments, and test things.
Test things.
Testing is good.
This is the test things episode. So I have one question I have one question on the hand signals.
Yeah.
Are you sure this is for?
Oh yeah, and don't forget, you can also use it for back end.
This is
load
my
testing.
point. This
For
was your
banging your
signal
back end.
for
Back end.
for
Banging
this,
your back end.
but this should really be the signal for back end stimulation, not for.
Bang in the back end, and then right, bang in the UI, right. You can bang the UI, and I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know anymore.
Nah, it's good. It's in the wild. You should
This has
check
been
it out.
informative. The margaritas at Casa Bonita.
Call us if you're ever
Wow.
in Denver. We'll get a drink.
Okay.
Cheers.
FlexMonkey.gorillalogic.com.
Thanks for watching. Hope
Goodbye.
you're drunk too.
Should we go for the longest goodbye ever?
Hope
Bye,
you're
Mom.
drunk on software.
I
Drink
hope
and
you
drive
opened a drink
safely.
during that.
No, don't drink and drive.
What is wrong with you?
I've had a few
Gay
days.
cowboy, you.
All right, I'm done. Cut off. Drive safely.
Can you
Don't
end-
drink and drive.